Welcome to Friday, TGIF. It's Friday, March 21st, 2025. This Day Weather podcast brought to you by ConverseCountyTourism.com. Feel the energy of Converse County. Explore Douglas's Railroad Heritage, Ayers Natural Bridge, and the Jackalope Legend. Glen Rock boasts scenic trails, dinosaur history, and small town charm. Plan your visit at ConverseCountyTourism.com. Well, a typical early spring weather pattern is going to evolve this weekend. This time of year, you do have windy periods. You have the ups and downs. That's kind of how this weekend's going to go. Strong Pacific jet stream winds will keep mountain snow showers in the forecast, especially tomorrow through tomorrow evening, while windy conditions on the plains with seasonal temperatures. For most of you, that means the 40s and 50s. We're still looking at this period of spring-like weather with high pressure for a good chunk of next week. The question, though, is that when we see this large trough form off the west coast, what's going to happen to it? Is it going to come off in pieces as it comes through the west? Is a piece going to be left out in the Pacific, or is this going to stall in the Pacific? Well, we have a whole different slew of different model solutions, and there's major disagreement long term. When I mean long term, there's a lot of difference between what the models say is going to happen between now and a week from today and by next weekend. And we'll kind of highlight that. But the storm that'll be forming off the west coast will be the big weather maker for the western side of the U.S. as we go into that first week of April. In the meantime, enjoy the cloudscapes across the west. Great lenticulars there over the Gore Range in Colorado on the first day of spring. And yes, I heard from a lot of you. Thank you for all your reports. I've heard lots of reports of folks seeing robins, meadowlarks, red-winged blackbirds, sandhill cranes, and bluebirds. So they're out there, out and about, and going to be showing themselves more. Boy, especially next week if you're a bird watcher. Great shot of the contrails there on the ski slopes. And we're going to have, with these high and mid-level clouds, nice sunrise and sunset photo opportunities all across the west and up and down the Front Range. As we take a look at the surface map today, we can see the first wave is through. It really hasn't done much, but you can see the low that was in the Pacific Northwest yesterday in the front is through. That really kicked up the wind yesterday afternoon and evening in many areas. And then here's the next wave that's going to come in very quickly. It's up here in the Pacific Northwest coast. It's going to come in tonight and tomorrow, racing its way on through. So this morning, there's the first wave. Here comes wave number 2. Strong jet stream winds aloft come along, and they're at a nearly right angle or close to a right angle to the Continental Divide, and that's what leads to the wind on the plains. That's where we're going to be by 6 p.m. tomorrow, with the next front racing through. Precipitation with these frontal systems, this is between now and Monday. So you can see Montana, parts of North Dakota there. The showers get further out into the plains, nothing really heavy, but a little wet. Once you get south of Colorado here, showers aren't going to really do anything, but we'll see another nice shot of snow for Wyoming's western mountains. The ski areas of Colorado and southern Wyoming get more snow, a little bit of snow along the high Wasatch as well, but it's west of the Cascades and northern Idaho and northwest Montana that get the bulk of the snow between now and Monday. Then after Monday, after this snow that we see in the mountains and showers on the plains gets done, there's that big high pressure ridge that develops. It starts to develop Monday and then continues probably through Thursday of next week. This is a very complicated pattern out here. Now, part of this has to do with just a big low, a big pocket of very cold, moist air in the Gulf of Alaska wanting to get formed there. We also talked earlier in the week about the stratospheric warming event that's taking place right now. And this is causing some turbulence in the model data. Now, when you change seasons, when you go winter into spring, when you go summer into fall, fall into winter, the transition periods, there's a lot happening. There's a lot of variables, a lot of inputs into the models that can kind of throw the models off a little bit. Keep in mind that the Earth and the atmosphere is moving constantly, and trying to keep up with the changing seasons with things in motion adds a lot of complexity. So we do know this for sure. We're very confident of this nice period of weather Monday through Thursday of next week. Where we start to lose confidence is what happens after that. There's the warmth. So get out and enjoy. You're going to get spring fever from Western Canada to Mexico. I don't think we're breaking any records or anything. It's just going to be a very nice spring-like pattern. There'll still be some breezy areas, but even the wind shouldn't be too bad. The cold is going to be in the Great Lakes in the northeastern United States. By late Thursday, this is by 6 p.m. Thursday, we're going to show you now what the different models are showing and show you kind of what we're looking at. And also as a little bit of a warning to you, when you look at your long-range forecast on your favorite weather app or your website or wherever that you watch and keep track of the forecast, when we take a look at the European model, it's pushing a fairly strong and moist Pacific front, comes off that storm off the West Coast, pushes through California and into the Great Basin by Thursday evening. And that would produce rain showers, probably some thunderstorms and some mountain snow. And then it would continue Friday into Saturday out here into the plains and maybe get itself better organized into a storm system. So here's the European model by next Thursday evening. The AI version, the artificial intelligence version of the European model, isn't as quick, but it's also ejecting a trough moving in. So the European suite is fairly consistent on breaking apart the storm and sending a good chunk eastward. The Canadian model kind of wants to hold it back a little bit, but it's just slower. There is a wave that's going to want to come in and break off from the main low, but it's about a day slower. The GFS model, the Global Forecast System, the US model, doesn't really do anything. It takes a piece of the system but sends it to the Great White North. It sends it into Canada, and it has a very mild flow and basically a dry forecast by late next week and into the weekend across the Rockies in the southwestern United States. There is a big difference between the European suite, the Canadian suite sort of in between, and the GFS model keeps the low consolidated up here. Now, the GFS model is the model that a lot of phone apps use. Not all of them, but a lot do. If you don't get your choice to pick which model you want to look at. So you would look at a forecast late next week and next weekend that would be mild, dry, by late next week and next weekend. However, if these solutions end up being correct, Friday and Saturday of next week and next weekend are going to be much different. So which one will be correct? Experience says that usually this type of solution does, because when you get into this time of year, you get these big storm systems, they can't hold together as well as they would, let's say, in a January, February situation. But we'll just have to wait and see. The warning here is that this is where you always have to take pay strong attention if you go out past 5 days when you look at a 5 to 10 day forecast. So what could be a warm, dry weekend next weekend on a lot of your phone apps could end up like this and have rain and thunder and colder and much unsettled weather. The good news is we've got a really nice stretch of weather next week to deal with before we have to figure out what happens late next week. And we'll keep an eye on it for you. And obviously, we'll have more on that for you on Monday. Have a great weekend.